In this class, we discuss about the chapter photosynthesis in higher plants. Photosynthesis is most important biochemical process of this planet because every living organism required food for energy for their metabolism. And the photosynthesis only process use the sunlight and produce food on this planet. First of all, in this lecture, we discuss about the name of the chapter photosynthesis in higher plants. In photosynthesis, there are two words. First is photo means light and second is synthesis means formation. Then the definition of the photosynthesis, the formation of food. Formation of food in the presence of light, and only sun is source for the light on this planet. Then photosynthesis in higher plants. Higher plants means there are in plant kingdom there are 5 type of plant: algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm and angiosperms. But when we discuss about the higher plants, then discuss for gymno and angiosperms. Both are included in higher plants. But if anyone asks you choose one from gymno or angio, then the angiosperms are higher than gymnosperms according to evolution, according to phylogeny. Okay, then gymnosperms and angiosperms both are included in higher plants in general terms, but angiosperms are higher plants. Gymnosperms, seed plants without flower and fruit, but angiosperms also seed plants with flower and fruits. So angiosperms are also known as flowering plants. 11th class NCERT and 12th class NCERT, there are some chapters like morphology of flowering plants, anatomy of flowering plants, sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Flowering plants means angiosperms, but in higher plants, gymno and angio both are included. But anyone ask to choose one from the gymno and angio, then the angiosperms are higher plant than the gymnosperms. Now, photosynthesis in higher plants, we discuss about the gymnosperm and angiosperm. Photosynthesis means formation of the food in the presence of light, and sun is only source for the light on this planet. Next, if we remember our early classes like 6th class, 7th class, then a simple definition of the photosynthesis: the green plants prepare their food by using sunlight, CO2, water and chlorophyll. And the chlorophyll is a photosynthetic pigment. Chlorophyll is a photosynthetic pigment. This definition is studied or teach by your teacher in early classes like 6th class, 7th class, 8th class. But when we discuss about the 9th class, at this time, we also studied about the chemistry, compounds, organic, inorganic, simple and complex compounds. Then the definition slightly modified, and now we define the photosynthesis as, in this process, simple inorganic compounds converts into complex organic compounds by using sunlight and chlorophyll pigment. In first definition, we also write about the CO2 and water. But in second definition, we did not write any water or the CO2. But important thing is simple inorganic compounds are CO2 and water. The complex organic compound is glucose, C6H12O6, glucose. So the photosynthesis in a chemical reaction, right as CO2 and water react in the presence of light and chlorophyll, pigment produce glucose, and then this glucose convert into another organic compounds like starch, sucrose, fructose, any other compound. Photosynthesis is fixation of CO2 by the help of light, CO2 and chlorophyll pigment. There is fixation is new word. What is fixation? In biology, fixation means gas form converts into compound form. The CO2 gas convert into compound glucose. So photosynthesis is also known as the fixation of the CO2, also known as the fixation of the CO2. But by the help of the light, CO2 and chlorophyll, without any compound is absent, light absent, CO2 absent, chlorophyll absent, whatever, then fixation means photosynthesis does not takes place. Now, we discuss about the higher classes, higher books for the understanding. You use the understanding the photosynthesis. Then the definition is photosynthesis is reduction of CO2 by in the presence of suitable oxidizable compound, light and chlorophyll. This definition represents the chemical aspect of the photosynthesis process, because reduction and oxidation both are words used in chemistry. So this definition represents the chemical aspects of the photosynthesis process. First of all, we write the chemical reaction of photosynthesis. CO2 react with water to produce glucose and oxygen. Photosynthesis is a process in which oxygen is produced as the byproduct. Also discuss in next lectures or the next topics. Oxygen released by photosynthesis release into environment, and this oxygen used by us for our respiration. Like when we discuss about the cellular respiration, first of all we discuss about our breathing system. Inhale or exhale, or inhale is very important for us because we use oxygen from our surrounding for our cellular respiration. But in our surrounding or the environment, this oxygen is produced from a process that is photosynthesis. CO2 react with the water to form the glucose and oxygen in the presence of light and chlorophyll. There is two terms. One is reduction and second is oxidation. Reduction, addition of hydrogen, electrons or protons. oxidation, release of hydrogen, electron or proton. Now, in water, H2O, hydrogens release and add to CO2. CO2 already have carbon and oxygen, but hydrogen come from water to form this organic compound that is glucose. Means reduction of CO2 occurs and hydrogens are released from water, means only oxygen is released into the environment and used by other organisms for their cellular respiration. In this chemical reaction, reduction of CO2 in the presence of H2O, but in definition, presence of suitable oxidizable compound is right. But why? Definition also written as reduction of CO2 in the presence of water, because in this equation water used, but at the place of water we write suitable oxidizable compound, because in some organisms H2O is not hydrogen donor, H2S is hydrogen donor in bacterial photosynthesis. In plants or the cyanobacteria. On this earth, cyanobacteria is first organism that use water for the hydrogen donor or the oxidation. Cyanobacteria. After cyanobacteria means blue-green algae, then protist, algae, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm, angiosperm, all are use water. All are use water. But bacterial photosynthesis, during the bacterial photosynthesis, bacteria use S2S. So, bacteria release sulfur or the sulfur compounds instead of oxygen during their photosynthesis. Next. As of now, we discuss about the photosynthesis from the reference books or our NCERT book. Then the process is understood by a definition, that is photosynthesis is a process in which photonic energy converts into chemical energy by using CO2, water and chlorophyll. Photonic energy. When we discuss about the light, there are two natures also studied, also teach by your teacher. One is energy bundles, photon or quantum, and another one is wave nature. If you discuss about the reflection like process, then light is wavy nature. But when we discuss as light is energy, then we assume that, we conclude that the light is a energy bundles used in the form of energy bundles, that is photons or the quantums. But this topic from the physics, but now we discuss about the biology. So photonic energy, simple meaning means light energy. Photonic energy, simple meaning means photons means light energy, photons or the light energy converts into chemical energy. What is chemical energy? When we discuss about the detail the photosynthesis process, at this time we also know about that ATP and NADPS2. ATP and NADPS2. Both are energies used for the formation of the glucose. First of all, in this process, light energy converts into ATP and NADPS2. This process is known as light reactions. In light reactions of the photosynthesis, light converts into ATP and NADPS2, and then these ATP and NADPS2 are used by CO2 carbon dioxide and glucose form, and this process is known as dark reaction. Light reaction plus dark reaction collectively known as the photosynthesis. Means in photosynthesis process, light reactions plus dark reactions occur, and the collectively light reaction and dark reaction collectively known as the photosynthesis process. So this is the latest definition of the photosynthesis to understand the process. All reference books, our NCERT chapter, all are based on this definition. That is, photonic energy or the light energy converts into the chemical energy. First of all, sunlight converts into the ATP and NADPS2 by the help of the light reactions. Then this energy, ATP and NADPS2, both are used in the dark reaction to produce the glucose or the food. So, for the glucose formation, light not used directly. In the formation of glucose, ATP and NADPS2 are used, but both are formed from light energy. So, photosynthesis occurs in the presence of light. That is the process. Now we discuss about the next topic.